I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand.
Well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. We're here. We made history in District 4. But what happens after we win? We can remember the victory, we can celebrate it, but we can't stay there. It is time to move forward. There's still, per the municipal code, the other aspect of this, which is the workforce, Stantec's workforce itself. And so if we're not showing that there's improvement in that area, then there needs to be some sort of audit. And I think that we need to set the standard that people are going to do business with us over long periods of time, that we're on top of auditing and ensuring that there's at least an effort to include every person in the workplace in every field. So here's why this is tough for people in District 4. There's a property that's 100% affordable housing that was developed recently on Willie James Jones Road. There's Ochi Courtyards, there's Trolley Residential. All of these are 100% affordable. And based on what we have before us, none of these would qualify to have the amenities that are listed here. I can't, in good conscience, vote for this today, because I would be voting against 70% of the people in my district. That really, it is oftentimes a burden for folks to go out, and they did it anyway because they felt that their voices would be heard. Here are my overall thoughts. It's something that I've commented on with regard to other items and how we do business here. We are extremely reactive. Yes. And in that, we leave folks out. We have to, vet through some things that maybe need more work, and I understand that is what committee is for. And that's because I did look at LA's ordinance and I looked at the attached resolution. It says very similar. It doesn't have the same time frame of enforcement. It has a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. as opposed to a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That really, if we're looking at trying not to criminalize people, we can look at the timing of something, just something very simple like that.
Because we are still having the conversation that if we change policy to make people safer, that we are against police. And that is not the case. That is not the case. And I, above all things while I am here, above any policy that I want to change, that is the conversation that I really want to change, that we can have a reasonable conversation about use of force. We can have a reasonable conversation about transparency and accountability without it being antagonistic. That is my goal. You know, I'm interested really in the parts of the JPA that focus on communities of concern, workforce development, local renewable power. And, you know, I am really concerned that we should have representation at every level when we're developing out this system that puts that at the center of every decision that we make. And that equity is at the center of those conversations as well.
But I just want to be very clear. This is deserving treatment, not preferential treatment. This is what this is. And we have to lay that foundation as a city because we consistently are holding people back in the policies that we put forward or the policies that are on the books. So this is just the beginning.
Two more quick things. One is I do want to flag the vehicle habitation ordinance. When the council passed it, Councilmember Ward, Councilmember Sherman, and I did point out in a memo form some very real concerns we had that are now addressed in this report about the cycle of poverty and leaving folks there based on ticketing and the like. And I really would like to go revisit that based on now this report. And it goes to show that that's the implementation part. That there's a lot of things about this that we can check off a box, but our mentality, the way we treat people really needs to change in order for us to be able to properly implement this. And criminalization is a part of that. The only other thing that I would say is there were racial statistics called out in this. I think that's very important. We heard public comment about that as well, that we cannot gloss over the fact that African Americans are 6% of this population, but occupy 29% of emergency shelter beds, and that we have to think with that lens as we go forward with talking about the disparities and homelessness. But thank you for all of your work. President, I will also be voting no. I'm going to be consistent with my thought process that I explained the last time we met on this item. The majority of my district did vote that citizens' initiatives should go to the November ballot. I don't think we should use our discretion for this at this time. Doesn't necessarily have to do with the substance of the measure, but the procedure that we're using to go forward. But I'm also going to bring up GEO Group. I don't think that this is something that can be brushed away with a simple statement saying that we have supported this population that GEO Group has impacted over the last few decades. This is very, very concerning for me, and I'll tell you why. The private prison industry has found ways to reinvent itself over and over and over again. And I'm very, very concerned that with the most vulnerable population that our unsheltered population is, that this is a perfect segue for this industry. Very concerned with that. And I don't think it should be brushed over. And in fact, I'm kind of insulted that it has been. So as I stated at the September and October PSNLN meeting, reforming the Community Review Board on Police Practices to become an independent commission was a top priority of mine. I have not strayed from that commitment to my community and to the entire city for police reform. My goal is to bring policies forward that are fair, that promotes trust and transparency between the community and police officers. This is not the be-all to end-all. We have so much work to do in this area, but I do believe that it is a bridge, and I believe that it will help us get to where we need to be. And no matter what, I'm going to work every day to ensure that everyone in this city is treated equally. That's, I believe, why I'm here, and this is just the beginning of that.